Welcome, welcome, welcome to Knuckle Sandwich MMA. I almost said my other podcast. Welcome to Knuckle Sandwich MMA. It is great to see you guys again, and we are heading in for another fight card, another wonderful bout. This card, it looks like it's going to be really interesting. I think there's going to be a ton of action in this card. We are looking at UFC Vegas 10, and yes, it is happening in said place, Vegas, and it's going to be pretty exciting. I do want to go over real quick some of the fights that dropped off. Of course, the main event, which is Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira, they fell off because of COVID-19, I believe. No, I think that one was an injury for Glover, if I recall correctly. And then we also lost Brock Weaver versus Frank Camacho. Frank Camacho has not had a lot of breaks lately. He's looked promising, and he's lost a couple of fights, and lost probably a fight he shouldn't have. And now he gets, I think he got COVID-19, tested positive, so he's out. And then we got Matt Schnell versus Tyson Nam. That fight is also off the card. So, we lost 3 on this card, but a lot of people have been, a little complaining a little bit about moving Michelle Waterson versus Angela Hill up to the main event, but you got to have a main event, right? And, I don't have a problem with it because I think all these fights are going to be really good fights. I don't think we're going to have anything that's going to be too boring. I think they're all coming to fight. Looking at the face-offs, I just finished looking at the face-offs. They all look pretty intense, and it should be pretty good action. So let's start off with, before we get to the main card, I want to start off with Sabina Mazos versus Justin Kish. And Sabina has definitely got the height advantage on this one. I've seen both of these ladies fight, and they're pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Sabina to win this fight. I think she's got pretty long range, and I think she's also got a pretty good ground game as well. So I'm going to pick her to win Justin Kish. And I do think Justine has to win this fight. So she's going to come with a little added extra motivation for this fight. And then we're going to move up to Brian Barberena versus Anthony Ivy. Now, this fight is, Brian Barberena is, he's always excited to watch. He's always exciting to watch. He's a blood and guts kind of guy. He likes to stay in the pocket and loves action, loves to slug it out, and he's really good. I think he's had a couple of losses too. His career's kind of been up and down, and but he had a cool haircut at the weigh-in. Had a nice mohawk, and but looking at Anthony Ivy, he's taller. He looks like he had him by 3 or 4 inches, and I think his reach is also longer. They both look like they're in good shape. I'm thinking that if Barberena can push the pace and pressure Ivy, I think he can pull this win out. I think if Ivy keeps his distance and utilizes his jab, and keeps Barberena on the back foot, I think Ivy will take it. But I'm going to flip a coin on this one, and I'm going to go with Barberena as my choice for this one. Next up, let's see. I'm going to switch over here. Oh, no, not yet. Not quite yet. Next up is Ed Herman versus John Allen. And Ed Herman, actually, it's not John Allen. I think it's Fernandez or something like that. Oh my gosh, somebody didn't update my list. Well, guys, my apologies there. Let's see. I thought I had it, and I don't have it, but I don't think he's fighting John Allen. I think he's fighting one of the guys from the Contender Series, because John Allen fell out. But that's what happens when that's what happens, guys, when fights fall out at the last minute and things change and there's a big shuffle. Everybody's got to shuffle and figure it out, and and that's the way it goes. Let me see if I can find it on my other site here. My apologies. Okay, so Yes, okay, there. I found it. Woo! I found it. So he's being replaced by Mike Rodriguez. And Mike Rodriguez is a little bit taller, and this was last minute replacement. He was from the Contender Series, and he's a good fighter. I saw that fight in Contender Series, and he looks pretty good. Ed Herman, though, he's a mean dude, man. So I think I'm gonna go with. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I think I'm going to go with Rodriguez on this one. I know that's going to surprise a lot of you. Ed Herman's a veteran. He's been in the fight game a long time, and he's on I think a couple of fight win streak. But you know, he's ready to fight. He's had a couple of full fight camps and he hasn't fought yet, so he's pretty hungry. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm going to change my mind because I just said that. Okay, he's pretty hungry, and I'm going to go with Ed Herman on this fight. Okay, and let's move on to the next one now. Another one is one of my favorite fighters, Bobby Green, and he's fighting Alan Patrick. And Bobby Green he's just a great fighter. He's mean. He can take a punch. He's not afraid to bang, and he likes to stay in the pocket too. But he's good everywhere. I mean, I've seen him scramble out of precarious situations, and he's pretty good everywhere. And so I like Bobby Green on this one over Alan Patrick. Alan Patrick at the weigh-ins, he did look pretty good though. He was cut. He was definitely bigger than Bobby Green. That's not necessarily saying anything, but I have not seen Alan Patrick fight, but I'm going to put my money on Bobby Green just because he's just really steadfast, and he's had quite a nice little winning streak going on. He's been fighting a lot. I mean, he's one of these guys. He seems to be fighting every other card or every two cards. You know, so he just says, keep giving me fights. If he's not injured, why not? So they keep giving him fights, and he keeps performing, and he's looking good. So yeah, I'm going to go with Bobby Green on that one. And then we got Billy Quarantillo, or Quarantillo, probably, I don't know how you pronounce it, versus Kyle Nelson. I've seen Billy fight, and he's a tough dude, but I've seen him lose too. He's a very exciting fighter. He can get bloodied up. Kyle Nelson, I believe I've seen him fight. He looks familiar to me. And if it's the guy that I'm thinking of, I think Kyle Nelson. I'm going to put my money on Kyle Nelson on this one. Billy is really good, but I've seen him. He keeps his head on the center line a lot, and he takes some shots. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle Nelson on this one, even though I don't know him very well. Let's see. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got here, you guys. And we've got we've got Roxanne Matafari, the Happy Warrior, I think she's called, Happy Warrior, versus Andrea Lee. Now, these two have a history. First and foremost, they fought in Invicta, and Roxanne won a decision over Andrea Lee. And so Andrea Lee is chomping at the bit to get that win back. She's currently ranked at number 9 in the flyweight division, and Roxanne is at number 8. So it's a good bout. 8 and 9 fighting each other. You can't go wrong. Plus, they have a history. And here's the other thing about it that's interesting. After they fought the first time, they became friends. So there you go. But they're going to go out and do nothing but business, I'm sure, in the cage. And that's a tough one to come across, because Andrea Lee is pretty good on the feet, but I've seen, and Roxanne, she's better grappling, a lot better than Andrea Lee, in my opinion, in grappling, but her striking, I don't think, is on Lee's level. So if it's going to the ground, I'm going to pick Matafari. If it stays on the feet, I'm going to pick Andrea Lee. I think Matafari will get her to the ground. I think she'll get her to the ground, and I think she'll do some ground and pound. I don't know if it'll be a submission. It might be a submission, but I think it's going to be either a decision or TKO, with the leaning towards Matafari. I like her though. She's got a fun personality. I like Lee too. She's very athletic, and Modaffari's coming a long way. One thing I like to say about her, because she writes a lot of articles on a lot of the MMA sites, or a couple of the MMA sites, and she has a really good insight into the fight game and how she explains it and everything like that. So I really like her, and I like the way that she's been in the fight game so long. She's really quite a veteran. I don't want to say old. I want to say a veteran because she's got a lot of fights, and she's been in there, and the UFC loves her. But I hope she wins. She needs to get it. She needs to win. And if she beats Andrea Lee again, I think that's going to be 2 losses for Andrea Lee since she's been in the UFC. I think. Next up, we have Atman Azatar versus Kama Worthy. Now, I like Kama Worthy. The last couple of cards, the last card he was on, I saw him fight for the first time, and I was like, "Who's this dude?" He was really athletic. I mean, very, very, athletic. His movement was really good. He dodged a lot of punches. He has really good command of the ring and of the octagon, and he's fast too. Now, what surprised me about Kama Worthy was his age and how he was kind of a late bloomer, and he's an older fighter, but man, he's good. If you didn't know his age, you would think he was probably in his late 20s, early 30s, but I think he's maybe mid 30s or somewhere around there. But he's a little bit older, but man, he's fast. He looks young. He fights young. He fights strong. So, Atman Azatar, he's a mean dude too. He's shorter. Kama Worthy had at the weigh-ins, he had a little bit of a height advantage over him, but they were mean mugging each other on at the face-off, and Azatar. He is a good fighter too. He's really, really good. This is going to be a great fight. This one is going to be. I predict this fight here, Worthy Azatar fight, is going to be either a fight of the night or a performance of the night. Okay, it's going to be one of those two, and I don't think they're going to go. They're going to go to a decision. I think somebody's getting submitted or knocked out. Probably knocked out. So that's going to be a good fight. Keep your eyes peeled on that one. Now we're up to the main card. As I mentioned previously, Michelle Waterson and Angela Hill were bumped up because of Glover Teixeira and Santos falling out, and so they're on the big stage. They're fighting for the #1 MMA organization. They're one of the very few sports to watch these days, and they're the main card. So you got a little bit of pressure going into this, but here's the thing: these two have got to perform. They've got to make it exciting. It cannot be a sleeper. I think their stock will go down significantly if they're just chasing each other around and there's not much action and not much submissions or anything like that, or a lot of lay and pray. I don't see any of them doing that, but I just, we've seen main cards, main fights where they're standing and looking at each other pretty much for the entire fight. I do believe, even though this is a main fight, that it's only 3 rounds because they weren't training, to be the main event. And I do believe it's only 3 rounds. I could be wrong. I don't know that for sure. But who am I picking? Michelle Waterson or Angela Hill? Well, judging from the face-offs, it looked like Angela Hill was a little bit bigger than Michelle Waterson. And Michelle Waterson looked in great shape, though. Both of them looked in fantastic shape. Looked like they're ready to fight. And now at the face-offs, Waterson extended her hand to shake Hill's hand, and Hill wasn't having it. So which kind of surprised Waterson, and she went, okay, and kind of walked off. So who am I going with? Oh boy. So we got #8, Michelle Waterson, in the strawweight division against Angela Hill, #13. Now I believe Angela Hill is the betting favorite on this one, which also surprised me. But they were talking about Waterson having going to too many decisions in her last, I think, 6 bouts. And so that's probably why the discrepancy there on the betting odds. But Angela Hill's been looking pretty fantastic lately. She's got 3 or 4 in a row. There was one that she should have won, in my opinion, because I did see that fight, and they gave it to the other person. But to me, Angela clearly won that one, so I'm going to give her 4 in a row, so to speak. So I'm going to go with. I got to stop doing this, but it's true. If it stays on the feet, Angela Hill. If it goes to the ground, I think Michelle Waterson has a better ground game. But Angela Hill has improved, so I'm going to lean towards Angela Hill on this one. That's my pick, is Angela Hill. That was a tough pick, though. I like Michelle Waterson. I like her style, but I think Angela Hill, she's getting up. She's a little bit older, and she needs to start making a run for that title if she wants to get something. So I think she's gonna sneak this one out. Okay. All right, you guys. That's my report for UFC Fight Night Vegas 10, and should be a good card. We had a number of fights fall off the card, and that happens during this COVID time and place. But they're expecting it now, and they have backup fighters and got all kinds of people waiting in the wings so that the fights can continue. All right, so this looks like a good one. Is it a sleeper like I mentioned the last time? I don't know. I don't know if it's a sleeper. I don't know if it's going to be super exciting. I know there's going to be a couple of bouts in here that are going to be really exciting, like Barberina, Bobby Green. I think even Ed Herman is going to be pretty exciting, and Kama Worthy. So what am I saying? Yeah, we're going to go with this as a sleeper, okay? Keep your eyes peeled on this and watch for the post-fight show. Don't forget, you guys, like and subscribe, share this video, share this channel, Knuckle Sandwich MMA. And we'll see you guys. Keep punching. Don't stop punching no matter what you do. Don't stop. All right. All right. Have a good one. See you later.